All right, folks, it is official. Rosalia is insane. The new girl, the paintress, the watercolor tit lady herself, her DPS is absolutely phenomenal. You can see behind me the result of what I'm about to show you. Actually, I might even make this a little harder on Rosalia. I might make Morrigan Aeon. Let's go for an Epic Lord. And I think I'll make Ireless Eloin. But she just completely solo DPS'd on this tiny little team, no power of dominance, 121. So the purpose of this video is going to be a deep dive into her guide, just like I did yesterday with Pierre. I definitely suggest you go ahead and watch my Pierre guide. I didn't showcase anything in that guide because Pierre's kit is so insanely complicated. To explain it well, it took me over 20 minutes. I know some people were like, well, other creators explained his kit and showcased him. Then you should definitely go watch them. But I find his kit really confusing, and I wanted to make sure it was as clear as possible. If you want to see Pierre content, we have another video coming out tomorrow and the next day. I have 2 full showcases featuring him, so look forward to that. For Rosalia, most of this video will be a deep dive into her kit. However, her kit is a lot simpler than Pierre, so I think I can get away with giving you a little taste, a little showcase right now. She is an all tier 1 gear. She's in her exclusive artifact with 0 promotions. It is at level 10, and like I said, I'm going to try bringing in Aeon as an Epic Lord and Eloin instead of Ireless, and let me tell you, she destroyed this content. Let's actually go to next here, and you can see the stats. 260.5 million damage. I will explain things as you see them so you can understand the gist of her kit. You'll be able to visualize it because it's right in front of you. Then I think everything will make a lot more sense when we dive deep into that kit and I actually explain what you just saw. So you can see here, power of dominance is of course off. Let's go ahead and take out Morrigan over here. I'm pretty confident she can do this with an Epic Lord. Her DPS is absolutely phenomenal. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff. Let's toss Aeon in there, and then we don't need Ireless, so let's just go ahead and grab an Eloin. I don't think we really need either, but I just want to bring a little bit of rage regen just to be safe. So let's grab this Eloin here and just quick equip. It does not matter. We don't even need an artifact or anything like that. Whatever we put on her, this is going to end up being fine. I'm going to show you my Rosalia build before we begin, and you will see the artifact is her exclusive artifact, which I love, the Paintress's Brush. We'll touch on this later, but this boosts her AoE damage, which is all the damage she does. Everything she does is AoE, and it allows all of her tiles to inflict slow. Her tiles are a weird thing. That's why I want to showcase something first so you can see the painted tiles in action, but that is going to be the artifact, no promotions. And then for the gear, it is ancient gear because I don't really have non-ancient tier 1 gear on the account, but she's in Night Terror for the right side. She is in Annihilating Might for the left, which isn't even her best in slot for tier 1. That would be Calamity. I just didn't have very good Calamity. So you can see this piece is pretty nice with a big crit damage roll, but 2 little blue rolls. This piece, very, very mid, nice flat attack, but that's it. This piece, a bunch of blue rolls and some random HP bonus. She'll never be touched because she's going behind the wall, so that doesn't matter. Here's a little trio, a nice attack bonus roll, and here's a little trio, very mediocre rolls. And of course, she's at Awaken level 0. This is just the one base copy in this mediocre build with the level 0 artifact, and she dominates. So that is the build, and this build, I know it worked with Morrigan. I'm pretty sure with Aeon right now, that build will easily just crush 121. Then I'm bringing Diao-Chan for inspiration, and we are bringing Eloin for rage. Let's hop in and let's see. I will tell you, the very end of this battle will take forever. So actually, as I say that, for the interest of time, let's just bring a Silas to nuke down the boss at the end. She can do it, but it would take several minutes, and I don't want to have to cut. I want you to be able to see everything. As good as her AoE damage is, it is infrequent, and thus she's not good at single target damage at all. So let's load this out. Come on, baby. We won't cut here, so you can see I'm not fiddling with anything. Aeon, yeah, no gear. You can see power dominance is still grayed out. It is off. Let's just grab a Silas or someone to nuke down. There's an A5 Silas. Let's just grab a Silas to nuke down the boss at the very end when we've killed all 58 of the 59 enemies. So this will be sufficient. We'll grab a Silas with some attack speed, and we're good to go. Let's toss this piece on. Very, very nice. Okay, let's begin Rosalia in this absolutely bare bones, mid-game kind of build. Night Terror, Annihilating Might, Promo 0, level 10, Paintress's Brush. Let's tear this thing up. So the gist of her kit, kind of like Pierre, is she's always painting. So her basic attacks, outside of her ultimate, her basic attacks do nothing. She just feverishly paints. This is more valuable than you realize, though, because every one of those feverish paints, I don't know why I call it that, but she's just kind of going like this the whole time. Those all count as basic attacks, even though they're not dealing damage, they're not healing. Frankly, they're not even painting anything, except for once every 20 seconds if she's not ulting. They still count as basic attacks, so they lead to rage generation, the rage regen off of her basic attacks. So that's pretty nice. You can cycle her pretty quickly, and that's really important because her ultimate is completely and utterly busted. So as I place her, you'll see right off the bat, very interesting basic attack range. She puts down a row of 3 tiles wide, 1 tile in front of her, then 3 tiles in front of her, and then 5 tiles in front of her. So in total, from where she's standing, it's 5 tiles there. She has this giant kind of rectangle where she's hitting just these slivers, and that rectangle is 6 by 3. When she's ulting, she fills out the whole thing, and she actually does deal damage with her basic attacks. You can see that right there. It's pretty crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So let's get right into it so you can see. I'm going to place Diao-chan right here just to give her some inspiration. Let's switch her to black mode. Then we are going to go place Elwyn wherever. It doesn't matter. She just needs to be on the field, and we are off to the races. So although already you can see some weird stuff happening. Why is there Winter's Bite? Well, she can paint 3 colors, and we'll cover this in the deep dive on the kit. But she's going to have these 3 rows. She's going to paint a line of color. So right now it's blue. When it's blue, she's doing Winter's Bite, which is stacks of slows that become freezes eventually. It's a very pesky debuff crowd control effect that she puts out. By the way, if I did not say it and if I was not clear, she's at A0. This is an A0 Rosalia right now. So let's get ready to ult and watch this ult happen. So you can see here, I'm going to break it down, but the gist is every basic attack, instead of her just painting and doing nothing, she is now going to deal ridiculous damage, 800% AoE magic damage. There's a lot of other good stuff that comes with that too, but all of a sudden, look at the damage she deals. Let's throw this on 1x so you can see. She's about to do a huge hit. Let's wait till she goes back. All right, ready? Watch this. Watch these numbers that appear above these guys' heads. 793,000. That was an AoE hit of 793,000. She's putting those out at just about every 5 seconds. And it's going to be 5 big bursts of it, 6 big bursts of it, 7 big bursts of it, depending on the build. We'll go over the build when we go over the kit. But that is remarkable. She's just deleted everything already. She still has a chunk of ult left. Look at these hits. Just ridiculous. Another big hit. Just took out half of their health just like that. Now the ult's over, so she can no longer deal damage with her basics, but she does have tiles painted. So you can see she's got red tiles, which is putting out burn. As these guys pass over the rows of red tiles, they're getting burned. So some damage is being dealt. Let's get ready to ult with her right away. She's also getting knockback on her ult. Close enemies get pushed all the way back. Pretty crazy knockback. Let's see the big hits again. We'll wait till she starts swinging back. Watch these hits. So this is with an Epic Lord Promo 0 artifact, 765,000. I think that was 765,821 damage, and that is an AoE. So look at these guys just get destroyed. If you're on a young account and you're still progressing through Gear Aid 1, this knockback, it's impossible. Look at this damage. It's impossible for them to deal damage against the wall, because she's destroying them and she keeps pushing them back by so much. She's just eliminating these guys. You'll see when she's ready, already has a nice chunk of her rage back. Very, 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 very nice. It's pretty remarkable. I think she's officially the strongest Gear Aid 1 champion in the entire game, even with this minimal investment. I mean, this is remarkable. Let's wait here. Another thing, you see the Forsaken Totem, specifically in Gear Aid 1. This is where there's one little area that the boss is able to heal his guys. She's constantly pushing them away from that range. So there he actually put it back there on himself, but pretty crazy. Also, watch her hit these guys back here because of her ridiculous range during her ult, right? She's ulting right now, so that's the range. She's going all the way past the boss. These guys are already half dead. Pretty crazy stuff. The wall is at 90%, 95% health, maybe 92%. Pretty ridiculous. She's making a joke out of this content. This is 121, no power dominance, nothing in the corner here. Let's keep watching. These hits are going to blow your mind now. She's putting out a lot of Winter's Bite. The blue is not her best color for this content. We'll go over the 3 colors she can paint later on. But it is nice also with the knockback. She keeps knocking them in front of and behind and in front of and behind these lines, and they're taking big damage whenever they go over these lines, the painted rows of tiles she's put. It's pretty crazy. So that's an unfortunate spot for the heal. That is not a good one. Let's wait till the ult comes back again. All right, let's ult with her now. They weren't able to heal back enough. I think we should be good to go. Huge hit there. Again, another unfortunate spot for the heal, but it's okay. She's knocking them way, way back. I hope she can get this done with Aeon. One more big hit. She'll delete that guy. She did. Looks really good. Look how far away those guys are. So, yes, the wall's low, but they're all knocked all the way back. Also, they were back there, so the boss healed that spot, which is not going to help them as much as the boss and everyone would like. She put out the red line, so there's a ton of burning. Now it switches to blue line, so they're all getting frozen, so they can't deal damage. Let's get one more ult that should delete. I hope all these guys, if not all of them, nearly all of them. These hits are so much stronger than the heals, right? One more hit should delete it. Oh, she didn't get the last hit off. That's unfortunate. One guy did drop, though. We'll see if we can make it one more cycle. And then, like I said, we've got Silas to nuke it down. With Morgan, we had easily cleared everything by now. She actually did take out the boss. It just took a while, as you can imagine, with these big AoE hits. But I think right now we've got a good shot if we can take out these last two guys. Push them away from that healing zone. Come on. Now they got the burn. Heal's gone. We got one more hit. We can. They might just die from the burns or they might just get healed. They just held on there. That's so frustrating. Look at that guy. You couldn't even see his health bar. Unfortunately, that is going to do it, but let's leave it here and see if we can just nuke it down anyway with Silas. Regardless, we'll let that go through. I mean, you saw the original result with Morgan that she was able to do it. This is pretty ridiculous stuff. That is going to be a fail, but let's look at that damage. If we got a little luckier, and now let's dive deep into the kit so you understand what I mean by a little bit luckier. If we got a little less blue and a little more red or yellow for the colors she was painting, she actually could have done that with Aeon. Almost 300 million damage. It's pretty remarkable stuff. Pretty insane. So let's hop in and let's break this thing down. What the heck is going on with this girl? Why does she hit so slowly? Why is she painting tiles? Why are there different colors? How is she doing so much crowd control? Let's get into it. Let's just go right through the kit. So this is my A0 Rosalia. This is the one in all the tier 1 gear. I've got an A3 here as well in pretty outrageous gear. This could do that in its sleep, this build. She could just destroy everything. But let's start with the talent. So she paints these tiles. Actually, the best way to explain it is let's start with the basic. Through her basic, she's going to paint a row of tiles in her range, a random color. Now, it kind of sounds the way they write the basic that each one of these rows can be a different color. That is not how this works. She just paints all 3 rows, one of 3 colors. There's red, there's yellow, and there's blue. Let's start with blue, because I said that was the kind of annoying one. In certain content, blue could be phenomenal because it's really good crowd control, right? Every single time an enemy is on or passing through one of these tiles when they're painted blue, so if it's been a blue paint job, all 3 of these would be filled in with those thin blue lines, they're going to receive 1 stack of Winter's Bite. She's constantly knocking them back with the ultimate, so they keep going over these tiles, these rows over and over. If they're right in front of her, they're just taking it constantly. Every 2 seconds, a new stack of Winter's Bite is being applied. This is really good for a lot of content where you don't need the DPS, but in content where you want the DPS, this will be a layer of RNG that holds her back a little bit, because no damage is coming from this. Yes, it's enabling crowd control bonuses from things like variants, maybe some artifacts, certainly Cultist Lord bonuses, but if you have her exclusive, which I'm sure will be available for free through the event, even at promo 0, all her painted tiles will always inflict 50% slow in addition to whatever the other tile effect is. So I really think the blue tile is, outside of maybe some specific content, perhaps she'll get use. She totally could get use in GVG defenses. Outside of that, I don't think the blue is the best paint job. I think it's clearly the worst. Let's go to the red because we talked a lot about that. This is just a very strong burning effect. It will continuously inflict burning upon enemies in range for 5 seconds, and that duration will keep getting reset every time the enemy's staying on the painted tiles when the rows are red or they're passing over them. So she can keep like crazy uptime on a very solid damage over time effect with the burning. Burning is going to be magic damage. It's magic damage over time, so it's just another way she deals tremendous magic damage. Finally, we've got yellow, which is the color we would have loved to see. That would have easily allowed her to take that out with Aeon. Yellow is going to increase her damage against any enemies in range by 20%. So when she's not ulting, it's going to be the damage she deals when they pass over these tiles. With the burst damage from her talent, we'll cover that in a second. And during her ultimate, it's going to be this insanely large range where she's dealing big AoE bursts, and it's going to be 20% increased damage to everyone. Now I think we've got a baseline of understanding the tiles. I know I'm going a little all over the place, but the best place now to probably go before the talent is just to break down her actual stats, because she is just a phenomenal AoE magic DPS. So for content where you need AoE magic DPS, the most obvious place you're going to think of is going to be the Bulwark version of Matrix 1. We definitely have content with her coming on that very soon, so stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. But anywhere you want big AoE damage, anywhere you want just a super strong melee unit, she is going to shine. So she's got that phenomenal magic damage, but she's got one of the quirkiest kits in the world. It really seems like as they add new OP heroes, they make them very strong, but they try to make them as bizarre and far out as possible. So she's got pretty solid base HP at just over 19k, nothing crazy. She has very good base attack at 4718, maybe very good's a stretch. It's good, but for an AoE magic damage dealing fighter, it's on the higher end. If you compare it to someone like Valkyria, it's a good bit higher. Someone like Magda, also higher, right? Here's Magda at A5 with the additional 300 attack she's getting from A2, and she's still only at 4600 or so, 4608. So Magda's base is 4308. So at over 4700, that is quite a good spot to be. Here's the A0 version. She can get another 300 at A2, as we'll discuss later with the Awakenings, but that's pretty dang high. The defense is good, the magic resistance is okay. Her cost is slightly high, but fairly standard for a good AoE DPS at 20. The weirdest part of her kit is this. Her attack interval is 10 seconds. And I will say this is one of the things that holds her back, but if it was any lower, she might be completely broken. She already is a ridiculous AoE DPS, but it is worth mentioning she has a 10.0 second base attack interval. So she joins two other fairly new units as units in this game that have that crazy high base attack interval. There might be some other OG units I'm not thinking of, but no one else comes to mind with this base attack interval besides Khadgrim and besides Dracula, Count Dracula. So this is something we're seeing more and more. I think it's very weird, but you can see her attack speed scales properly. If we think about Khadgrim, he actually had the opposite of specialized attack speed. Specialized attack speed is like an inherent buff certain units in this game have, like Helga and Voroth and Falcia, where attack speed drops their attack interval more. It makes them faster than the average unit. So 100 attack speed additional on those units is more impactful than other units. Khadgrim was the opposite. In his case, 100 attack speed did less than it would for a normal unit. Fortunately, we do not have that issue with Rosalia. She has the same kind of scaling. So, you know, here, pretty slow build. This is the A3 version. Sorry, let's pop back to the A0. You can see I only had her at 181 additional, so 281 total. This took off 40% of the attack interval. It brought her down to just about 6 seconds, 6.1 seconds. In the other build, you can see if you build her really quick, this is 489 speed, and you could do a lot quicker than this. You get her under half, right? This is going to be pretty impactful, 4.7 seconds. An extra hit every 1.4 seconds, so much better over her ultimate. Honestly, if we had her at like 5.5 seconds or so in the run we just did, maybe I'll do this at the very end and I'll just speed it up and just show you the result. She would have gotten that done even with just Aeon. So that's pretty cool to know, but the 10.0 second basic attack interval is not great at all. Rage Regen Auto, I also wish this was a bit higher. 12 is pretty standard, but for a unit who's attacking at a very slow attack interval, even with a really good build, she's gonna be at like 4.5 seconds, 4.3 seconds at the fastest probably. I kind of wish this was like 16 or something, but it's all still very good. She's extremely strong. And to prove that, let's go back to the kit. So we understand how the painted tiles work, we understand the colors, let's get into the talent. Enemies entering a painted tile immediately will take 300% AoE damage once, and then they're inflicted with magic res reduction. Two really important things here. This is how she can deal damage outside of her ultimate. Anytime an enemy is passing over tiles, they're going to take a burst of AoE damage. That's really good because it's also going to be hitting multiple other enemies. However, there is a cooldown we're about to discuss. The other key thing is she puts out a very strong magic res reduction. Minus 25% magic res reduction with a 10-second uptime as an AoE effect is close to as strong as anything we see in this game. If we go to a unit like Valara, who's kind of the queen of this, Valara has a similar way of putting out magic res reduction. Well, not similar manner, but a similar amount. You can see here with her auto-passive Leap of Faith, fairly consistently every 15 seconds, she's doing a big AoE hit, putting out magic res reduction. Valara does have the best version of the AoE magic res drop, at minus 30%, but Rosalia is very close, and Valara is Valara. And I will say, in certain content, Rosalia is going to have better uptime. She'll have 100% uptime on that 25% magic res reduction during the ultimate, and it can be very close to 100% outside of it. Like in Matrix Bulwark, they're going to be under magic res reduction like the whole time. So Rosalia is phenomenal there, and she's just phenomenal in a ton of content. That is a key part of her kit. If we go to that cooldown though, this damage, this burst, and then the magic res reduction that comes with it does have a cooldown of 8 seconds. So a singular enemy passing through will only trigger the 300% burst AoE magic damage and the magic res reduction once every 8 seconds. However, this can get better. When she ults, instantly she's going to do both of these things. So she's going to cast additionally to everyone on any tile, regardless of the cooldown, the 300% AoE magic damage, and she's going to inflict the magic res reduction. And now the cooldown is cut in half, so only 4 seconds. And you can get really good use out of this because if we look at the ultimate, it lasts 25 seconds. She does that initial trigger right during the first second. So actually you'll get 7 instances of this, which is a ton, right? 7 additional bursts on top of the already huge damage during the ultimate, and you're guaranteeing for any AoE content 100% uptime on the minus 25% magic res. So really, really, really nice stuff. That kind of ends it for the talent, and I'm going to be honest, now that we've gone over the talent and the basic, it kind of ends it for the really complicated parts of her kit, because with the ultimate and the 2 passives over here, she kind of just becomes a normal, amazing hero, a normal, overpowered hero that we can all understand properly. So let's go to her ultimate now. This is called Color Burst. It is a manual ult. It is 900 cost. Unfortunately, she doesn't get any initial rage, but I will show you with Awakenings, you can get all of that. You can see with her A1, every time she's deployed or redeployed, she starts with 100% rage, so a full 900 rage bar, and she gets the other effects we'll discuss when we get to Awakenings. But unfortunately at A0, she starts with no rage, so she has to build up from scratch. It's not a huge issue, but I will say her A1 is really appealing, especially for one kind of content we're gonna talk about in a moment. But when the ultimate is active, her range fills out, so it's not just these weird 3 rows. No, you get this huge range of 3 tiles by 6 tiles, an enormous rectangle covering a total of 18 tiles. It's crazy. And during that ultimate, every single basic attack will deal 800% AoE magic damage to up to 12 enemies. That is a huge quantity of targets. Many AoEs in this game are 5 targets, 7 targets, 8 targets, 10 targets. She's hitting 12 targets, and she's doing this enormous burst of AoE magic damage every 4.5 to 6 seconds, depending on the build. If you build her with under 5 seconds, like 4.8 seconds or less, you'll get 6 triggers of this ultimate. We obviously were just missing out on that in the last version I was showing you with the A0 build because she was too slow at 6.1 seconds. But if you can put like an additional, I think it would come out to like 380 additional attack speed or more, so 480 plus total. She's gonna get 6 triggers of that 800% AoE burst, and this really is the true meaning of power creep. Think of someone like Razak, who has like a very good AoE burst, right? He does 1000% piercing damage one time, and that is the end of his ultimate. With Rosalia, she's doing this 800% AoE magic damage, hitting 12 units, ideally 6 times. That's 4,800% damage. Yes, it's over 25 seconds, but that is insane. And the whole time, you have only a 4-second cooldown on this, so you're getting bursts of 300% additional magic damage all over the map as enemies cross over those lines. It's a ton of damage. She just deletes stuff, as you saw. Additionally, she's got that crazy knockback. Any units that are within a couple tiles of her, they're going to get knocked back with enormous strength. You saw how far back she was pushing everyone. We also have this. Each attack during the ultimate is going to paint the tiles that she paints a new color, a new random color. So typically from the basic attacks, when she's painting but nothing's actually changing, the colors only switch once every 20 seconds. During the ultimate, they will switch at the rate of her basic attacks. So every 4.5 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, however you build her. Last thing, during the ultimate, she's going to reduce the damage she receives by 50%. This is very valuable in content where you might have her tanking or not have a unit blocking in front of her, so some units actually could be touching her. It makes her pretty tanky, right? She's mitigating half the damage coming in. She's just foregoing that. The first passive now, when enemies enter a tile of the same color, so they pass over one tile, it's one color, they pass over another tile, it's the same color they just passed over, they're going to take an extra hit of 300% AoE magic damage, and they're hit with a mobilized state. So for 2 seconds, essentially, their speed becomes 0. This just makes it so that they're stunned. It's a 100% slow. It's just another layer of crazy crowd control in her kit. I do think she has a lot of potential for GVG defenses. Finally, the second passive, Desaturate. When she kills an enemy, she's going to boost her attack by 10% for 12 seconds. And this refreshes every time she kills an enemy, so you'll go back to 12 seconds. If she can kill 3 enemies, she's going to max this out at a 30% attack increase. That is another way she can become crazy strong. In content, where there are tons of enemies to hit with her AoE damage and she can get kills, like Bulwark, like Gear Aid 1, like potentially a lot of other things, she is going to do a ridiculous job. Conqueror, that'd be an incredible place for her. She's going to do an incredible job of keeping full uptime on this. The final thing, the weirdest part of her kit, is her passive bond skill, the partner skill she gets as soon as you obtain Pierre. This is called Palette Swap, and it is weird. But with Awakenings, this can make a lot of sense, at least in one piece of content, potentially a lot of content moving forward. Right now, only one thing jumps to mind. When Rosalia dies or you retreat her from the battlefield, she is going to grant rage regen to adjacent allies equal to 2% rage per second. So that's going to last 10 seconds. Over those 10 seconds, in total, adjacent allies are going to get 20% of their rage back. This is an extremely strong rage regen effect. However, why would you want to take her off the battlefield? To understand that and to start thinking about what content that would work in, let's go to the Awakenings. So starting with the A1, similarly to Pierre, her A1 and her A3 are definitely the most important. For the specialness of that weird passive that she gets from the Pierre bond skill, her A5 is actually very important. But for most players, in the vast majority of the ways you're going to use her, the A1 and the A3 are the best. So that's really nice because those are easier to obtain. A1, when deployed, she immediately gains 100% rage, and she increases her damage by 20% for the first 20 seconds. This is very nice for content where you want to burst right away. AoE Arena, she's a little harder to get out because she's 20 cost. This kind of makes it all worth it. She is incredibly strong in AoE Arena. Worst case scenario, she's going to be off meta, but very, very good. Best case, she'll be potentially bringing in a new meta. This is going to help a lot. You'll definitely want her A1 for high levels of AoE Arena. The A2, we already talked about it briefly, plus 300 attack, very standard. It brings her base attack over 5,000, which is really, really nice. The A3, the tiles in the front 2 rows, right in front of her, will continuously deal 30% AoE magic damage per second to enemies in range. This is a lot better than it sounds because this is just constant permanent damage. You can think of this as a constant and stronger permanent version of burning, right? Burning typically is 20% AoE magic damage per second. This is going to be every second when it comes to the enemies in the 2 rows in front of her, and it's going to be 30%, not 20% per second. So this is just constant bonus, very nice damage. The A4, this is pretty standard. She's ignoring an additional 8% magic res. So when she has her magic res reduction on and she's putting it out on all the enemies, it's 33% she's going to ignore as baseline, not 25. She's getting an extra 8 here. That's pretty cool. And then the A5, this is where all the funkiness starts happening. So I don't think there's going to be so many use cases for her passive, her bond skill from Pierre, where you consciously let her die or you retreat her from the battlefield before you have her A5. However, once you do, I think there are some obvious things. So the thing I've been thinking about the whole time is going to be Malric's Halls of Illusion. There are a lot of maps there she could shine on, crazy range, super far reaching, and then you can get all these moments where you have these gaps of time where you might want to pick her up and move her around. But as a standard unit with 60 seconds of redeployment time, are you really going to pick her up that much? Maybe here and there, but I don't think it would be that common, right? You can see redeployment time is 60 seconds. If you get her A5 though, that redeployment time permanently is cut in half and it becomes just 30 seconds. She's not that amazing outside of her ult. Her ult is when she becomes the destroyer of worlds. So for that reason, you could totally justify picking her up and moving her every 30 seconds after she finishes ulting. For 2 reasons. You're getting the big benefit of the passive with the 2% rage per second over 10 seconds to all the adjacent allies. That's a very nice rage regen effect. And the second sentence here. Each deployment, she will permanently increase her damage by 5%. So when you originally put her out, that's 5% increased damage. take her off and put her down 2 times, she's now maxed out at a permanent boost of 15% damage, another incentive to take her on and off the field. I think it's hard to justify in a lot of content pre-A5. Before the A5, for certain maps, I think it could make sense in Malric. With the A5, I think she becomes a Malric superstar. She might already be that, to be fair. But there you go, that is ROSALIA. I think she's completely nuts, and I just really love this character. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. To wrap it up now, I'm going to do a quick regear. I'll show it to you, and then we'll do a sped up version of that 121 fight where she actually pulls off the solo. Give me 1 second. All right, there's the regear. I got her in some Calamity on the left side that had some attack speed subs, and then I did some advanced refining to get some attack speed rolls higher on the right. In total, her attack speed now is 479, and you can see her attack interval is way better, 1.4 seconds faster. She's at 4.7 seconds now. You'll really get to see her in full effect now. I'm going to show this whole run super sped up, just for the interest of time. I probably will join at about 36 kills just to show you how fast she is now and to show that her ult is even that much stronger with the faster attack speed. So let's hop in. Same exact situation here. I want to stick with Aeon. I want to stick with Eloin. I will use Silas just to burst down the end. You can see Power of Dominance is off. Let's hop into battle and let's conclude this video. So we're going to go super speed right now once I get her place. Then we'll join at like 36 kills. And yeah, I think you guys are going to be very impressed. Here comes ROSALIA. See you in a moment. All right, this is a good moment to show here. You can really see her increased attack speed, how they just get knocked back even more often. Obviously, they're taking more damage, those huge bursts of 800%. The whole thing synergizes better. So definitely my mistake on the first one, thinking we could get away with that slow build. I mean, we did get away with it. She still was that close to solo DPSing the whole thing. But let's watch this big burst together, and you'll see with all these units here, we're getting stuck with a lot of blue paint, but look at these hits now. Just boom, knocking everyone back. It's just crazy how easily she deals with this. The wall is still as healthy as ever. She's still going. Should be able to get one more hit at the end. And we do. And that's kind of the difference. 2 total extra hits, but that 1 extra hit at the end too is just ridiculous. We're already up to 48 kills. We'll probably finish this out together. I'll start signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm Fastidious. Share with your mother, subscribe to the channel, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Let's get one last burst and let's watch this beautiful thing. You can see the knockback is so powerful too. We'll see where they put the heal right in the middle, of course. We might still be able to get it. Should pick that guy off. Yeah, look at these guys just getting deleted. One more hit. No, just missed it. No, we did get the one more hit. So yeah, look at them hanging on by a nothing. We'll let it go one more ult. Actually, the burns just killed him. Okay, let's drop a Silas. This is why I wanted to say Silas. She can do it herself, but just so you can see how long it would take. I mean, any single target unit could work here. It's just if she's not ulting, she's not dealing much damage. Silas, we delete it. We're done. It's pretty remarkable. I really hope they make ROSALIA or Pierre guaranteed in some capacity. There have been a lot of rumors that maybe that won't happen. I think that would be a terrible mistake by the developers. So let me put that in at the end. I know the devs are going to watch this video and they review it. So I really think one of them needs to be somehow guaranteed. I mean, if they want to go wild, why not make ROSALIA a fusion? I mean, that would be incredible for so many players. But there you go. Full solo, no power of dominance. We use Silas just to speed up the end. 250 million damage. It's basically a joke. She is insane. Look forward to the Bulwark content. Thank you. Share it with your mother. Goodbye. I'll see you soon.
Fastidious.